done it. Plunged into the wiring of this car. Jake's just been here. He's been giving me a hand. We pulled it all out and started working out where things need to be. I've sort of started drawing on this board of where bits need to be, so then I can get a better picture before I lay it in and actually start working out all the lengths and things. Now I've got the standard loom here with all the plugs on it, and I'm now just sort of going through and working out what needs to be off this one onto that one to make everything work. And it's quite daunting, but I think if we just go step by step, it's not too bad. Sort of already worked out a whole lot of things. I mean, it's so good. This Haltech gear, with the information they give you, is pretty awesome. Like, it's just a matter of working through and spending a whole lot of time on the internet trying to work out pinouts of things. Like this is the plug off the electric throttle pedal, or the E pedal, or the fly-by-wire pedal, whatever you want to call it. And I have to work out the pin out for that, which Jake managed to find online, so I know what that is now. And we can match it up. I know it goes with that bunch of orange wires. And going off here, I can look at the throttle pedal and work through what one does what and see if I can work out where they need to go. Yeah, I was going to do a time lapse, but all it would be me scratching my head. So I'll keep you updated on how this is going, and I'm going to dive in and start organising this stuff. So I've just had arrived this E-pedal. It's from a Subaru Impreza, I believe. And I've gone and made a little mount up in there. You can see the 3 bolts sticking out, and that just bolts up in there nicely, like so. And being with a metal shaft, I've just sort of bent that pedal across and in the position I want it. Now the rest of this video, I'm going to do it slightly different. I'm going to do quite a bit of voiceover because all this stuff happened over about a year, and a lot of the footage isn't actually very good, and my stories keep going over top of themselves a lot, so I thought I'd just do it this way to make it a lot more interesting for you guys. Now, my good buddy James came down from Christchurch and did so much work over the Christmas summer break with me. Really helped. I mean, I couldn't have done it without him. And together we worked on it for a few days straight and got so much done. The car really came forward in that time. So here we are. We're just working out where all the wires need to go, what we're going to do, adding some sensors, and just generally getting some things sorted. So the wiring's all laid out at the moment. It's getting closer. We've got them all in their groups with all of their labels and where they need to be. They're still at full length that the loom came. So we've got the ones going to the front of the car that need to go to the front, and the ones that need to go to the sort of cockpit area. These are the ones, we've got a whole lot of extras, and we've just still got to assign a couple of those for a couple extra little things, but yeah, that's all getting laid out quite nicely. So as James was trucking on and pinning out all the plugs, now I should actually probably briefly touch on this. I spent ages trying to find pins to go into this plugs that I had off the loom, because I thought I'd just be able to take the plugs off, get new pins, crimp them on and put them back in. I didn't want any soldered joins or any of that stuff. I just wanted wire from end to end, nice and tidy, so I wouldn't have any faults. Now, it turns out it's really hard to get the right pins. I tried all sorts of ways and then started searching overseas and was having no real luck. So what we ended up doing to temporarily get the car going was we actually chopped up our good loom and did do soldered joints and things where we had to, and we did wire where we had the plugs, like the throttle body and that sort of stuff. We already had all the plugs with the crimps for those, so we sorted all that. But the other ones we just did temp jobs on, and then I ended up having to buy all new plug kits instead of just the little crimp-on bits. I had to buy all the plugs. So just as well, if anyone wants me to go into any more detail on any of this stuff, I'm really happy to try and help you guys out, because I had a lot of problems trying to find things and like information on plugs and that I have all sitting there now, so I might be able to help you out. So just hit me up if you need it. Now, another thing we run into with the car is initially we couldn't get it to prime its oil, because we went through, put new oil in it, filled up the radiators, blah, 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 did all that stuff, but then it wasn't turning out the oil pressure light. So I was a little concerned about that. Since I've actually upgraded it to an actual oil pressure sensor, but then we're having all these problems, and we ended up having to pull the fuel filter off and prime down the center of it. And after doing that, we got good oil pressure. So that was a good wee chip that James knew, and I had no idea you needed to do that. So that was awesome. Now, going on to Haltech. Now, I've been hugely impressed with the amount of help I've got from them, even if it's just messaging them about parts, or we ended up here. This is straight after, this might even be in between Christmas and New Year's, and we rung this guy up, and we couldn't get the thing to fire. We spent ages checking over our wiring, doing everything, going through the software. We thought we had everything right, and it took us ages. Now, it turned out all it was the boost cut was set to -14. So it was always on boost cut, and it was cutting the fuel. So the injectors weren't pulsing. We knew we had no injector pulse, but we couldn't work out why. And as soon as he seen that by logging into our computer, away it went. So you crank it.
It's quite rich.
Yo, it goes though, it goes.
Yes.
We spent a day worrying about that, buddy. So that was our first start. Obviously, it wasn't very good, but man, that was a huge milestone, because it's the first time it actually made a noise like it was going to start, and we were so stoked after working on it for ages and having all sorts of funny problems. So then I fiddled around on the computer a bit more, and we tried again. So after that one, you can see it's running way too rich. Now I've got Bosch 1000cc injectors in this thing, and I had the dwell times wrong. I actually got a dwell time from the company that sold me the injectors, and it turned out to be wrong. It was a different one. So after working that out, that helped a lot there. But we also worked out that my wideband didn't have power to it. So we also fixed that, and then when we fixed that, and then let the motor run up for a while, it ran so much better. So this is where I'm going to leave this video. I'm going to do a follow-up video to this, because since we've actually done more stuff to the motor and talked to Haltech again, got it going a whole lot better, wired up a few more things, tidied all the wiring, put the proper plugs in, and it's made a huge difference. So I'll catch up on that soon. And again, I just want to thank James for spending so much time helping me on this thing. And hearing this thing fire up has really got me motivated to kick in, do some more work on this thing, and get it to the finish line. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one.
could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane.